Somebody in here today came in carrying a question mark where God wanted to put a period. You've been wrestling with doubt, doubt about who you are, doubt about where you're going, doubt about whether you're even qualified to step into the thing that's been stirring in your spirit. But I came to tell you, doubt is not your destiny. God didn't bring you this far to leave you second guessing yourself. Today, we're going to expose that doubt for the liar that it is, break its grip off your life, and unlock the purpose that has been waiting on you all along. Because when you stop listening to the voice of fear and start trusting the voice of the Father, you'll step into the kind of life you were created for. So buckle up. This is not just a sermon. This is a breakthrough moment. Doubt doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It often has a root. Sometimes it starts with a word someone spoke over you when you were younger. A teacher who said you wouldn't amount to anything. Parent who compared you to someone else. A friend who laughed at your dreams. Other times it comes from the experiences you've been through, the moments when you failed, when you tried and didn't succeed, when you prayed and didn't see the answer right away. Those moments can plant seeds of uncertainty in your heart. If we don't confront those seeds, they grow into strongholds that whisper lies every time we try to step out in faith. Doubt loves to hide behind logic and reason, making you believe that being cautious is the same thing as being wise. But the truth is that some of what you call caution is really fear in disguise. To defeat doubt, you have to go back and ask yourself where it began. Was it in a season of heartbreak? Was it in a season of disappointment? Was it when you compared yourself to someone else and thought you could never measure up? You cannot cast out what you refuse to identify. When you get honest about the root of your doubt, you strip it of its power. You begin to see that those voices and those moments were not the final authority over your life. They were just chapters, not the whole story. And when you expose the root, you make room for God's truth to come in and heal the places that have been keeping you stuck. The most powerful way to silence doubt is to confront it with the truth of God's word. Doubt thrives in the dark, feeding on the lies that say you are not enough, that you will never make it, that you are not qualified. When you begin to replace those lies with truth, everything starts to shift. Truth is not just an idea. Truth is a weapon. When the enemy tells you that you are too broken to be used, you speak what God says, that his strength is made perfect in your weakness. When fear says you cannot take that step, you remind yourself that God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Replacing lies with truth means you stop agreeing with the negative thoughts running through your mind and start agreeing with what heaven says about you. It is a daily decision to renew your mind, to speak life when everything around you is speaking death, to declare possibility when circumstances look impossible. Every time you choose truth over the lie, you weaken the hold that doubt has on you. It might not change overnight, but little by little, your faith becomes stronger. Your confidence grows and your perspective shifts from fear to faith. The more truth you store in your heart, the less room there is for doubt to live. Faith is not just something you think or feel, it is something you do. Doubt will always try to paralyze you, to keep you from moving forward until you have every answer, every resource, every guarantee. But faith is about taking a step even when you cannot see the whole staircase. Strengthening your faith through action means refusing to wait until you feel ready and instead moving because you know God is with you. When you act in faith, you are telling your doubt that it does not get the final say. It might be something as simple as making the phone call you have been afraid to make, applying for the opportunity you think you are unqualified for, or speaking up about what you believe even when your voice shakes. Every act of faith, no matter how small, builds spiritual muscle. Just like exercise strengthens the body, repeated steps of obedience strengthen the heart. Over time, you start to look back and see how far you have come, and it gives you courage to keep going. Acting on your faith also creates room for God to move. He meets you in motion, opening doors you could not open on your own, providing what you could not see until you took the first step. The more you move, the less control doubt has over you, and the more you prove to yourself that God is faithful. The voices you allow into your life will either fuel your faith or feed your doubt. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, criticism, or people who do not believe in what God has called you to do, it becomes harder to stay focused on your purpose. Surrounding yourself with purpose-driven voices means being intentional about who speaks into your life. You need people who will remind you of what God said when you forget, who will push you to keep going when you feel like quitting, who will speak life when your circumstances feel heavy. These voices might come through mentors, friends, pastors, or even books and messages that challenge you to rise higher. The right voices create an environment where faith can grow and doubt has no room to breathe. They help you see possibility when all you can see is obstacles. They hold you accountable to the vision God has placed in your heart and won't let you settle for less than what you were created for. Being surrounded by the right voices also means learning to silence the wrong ones, shutting down gossip, negativity, fear-filled conversations that drain your spirit. When you choose relationships and influences that align with your God-given destiny, you begin to walk with a new level of clarity and boldness. Walking boldly in your God-given assignment means refusing to shrink back when fear or insecurity tries to creep in. It is about stepping fully into the role that God has prepared for you, even when it feels bigger than you are. Boldness is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move forward in spite of it. You begin to carry yourself differently when you know that you are backed by heaven. You stop apologizing for who you are and what you carry, and you start using your gifts with confidence. Walking boldly also means letting go of the need for everyone's approval. Not everyone will understand what you are called to do. That is okay. Your assignment was not given to them, it was given to you. The more you lean into that truth, the more freedom you will feel to run your race without comparison. Boldness requires trust. Trust that God will equip you as you go. Trust that He will provide what you need. Trust that even if you make mistakes along the way, His grace is big enough to cover them. When you step out boldly, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a light that shows others what is possible when they choose to walk in purpose without hesitation.